just short prophecy, only 2 chapters. It's broken up, into a couple sections. So it'll take us a couple of days to get through it just because of how it's broken up. But Haggai is interesting because Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi after this are the post-exile prophets. Most of the prophecies we've read thus far, most of the prophecies we've read thus far have been to do before the exile. Just a quick refresher of your history from the Old Testament. Saul was the first king of Israel. After him was David. David was the great king, the king after God's own heart. After David was his son Solomon. Solomon expanded the borders of Israel, made it probably its most powerful, its wealthiest. But towards the end of his life, he departed from the Lord. And after him, his son came to rule. And at that point, the kingdom fell apart. And there was a divide of the kingdom. No longer was it the United Kingdom of Israel, but you had a northern kingdom called Israel, and you had a southern kingdom called Judah. The two southern tribes, Benjamin and Judah, maintained a king from the line of David. And then the northern kingdom had a variety of kings. Very few kings in either of the two kingdoms did right in the sight of the Lord. Israel never had a king who did right in the sight of the Lord, and Judah only had a couple. So eventually, Israel was destroyed and defeated by the Assyrians, and they destroyed the kingdom. And then eventually Babylon defeated the southern kingdom of Judah, and that's they carried the Jews in exile. And this book picks up, Haggai's prophecy picks up post-exile. So the Jews have been released from their exile and have now returned to Jerusalem. And when they return to Jerusalem, and Nehemiah delves into this, as does Ezra. Those two books delve into really into detail in the reconstruction. But Haggai has a prophecy of what is happening, what they should do. So Haggai is a contemporary of Nehemiah and of Ezra, because you're going to see some of the same people mentioned here: Darius, Zerubbabel, Zadok, these individuals that we see mentioned both in Nehemiah and Ezra. So we're going to read Haggai chapter 1 today. It's only 15 verses. So let's read chapter 1. In the second year of King Darius, in the 6th month, on the first day of the month, the word of the Lord came by the prophet Haggai to Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, son of Zadok, the high priest. Thus says the Lord of hosts, these people say the time has not yet come to rebuild the Lord's house. Then the word of the Lord came by the prophet Haggai, saying, is it a time for you yourselves to live in your paneled houses, while this house lies in ruin? Now therefore, thus says the Lord of hosts, consider how you have fared. You have sown much and have harvested little. You eat, but you never have enough. You drink, but you never have your fill. You clothe yourselves, but no one is warm. And you that earn wages and put them in a bag with holes. Thus says the Lord of hosts, consider how you have fared. Go up to the hills and bring wood and build a house, that I may take pleasure and be honored, says the Lord. You have looked for much, and lo, it came to little. Why, when you brought it home, I blew it away. Why, says the Lord of hosts? Because my house lies in ruins, while you all hurry off to your own houses. Therefore the heavens above you have withheld the dew, and the earth has withheld its produce. And I have called for a drought on the land and on the hills, on the grain, on the new wine, on the oil, on what the soil produces, on human beings and animals, and all their labors. Then Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Joshua, son of Zadok, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the word of the Lord their God, and the words of the prophet Haggai, as the Lord their God had sent them. And the people feared the Lord. Then Haggai, the messenger of the Lord, spoke to the people with the Lord's message, saying, I am with you, says the Lord. The Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, the governor of Judea, and the spirit of Joshua, son of Zadok, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people. And they came and worked in the house of the Lord on the 24th day of the month, in the 6th month. Okay, so you see here, Haggai comes to the leaders and says, this is from the Lord. The reason why nothing's working, the reason why you're planting but not harvesting, eating but not being filled, The reason why these things are happening is because you have neglected the house of God. It says in verse 4, is it a time for you yourselves to live in your paneled houses while this house lie in ruin? Verse 9, because my house lies in ruins, will all of you hurry off to your own houses? And that's an important verse. It's golly, y'all think it's so easy to give God what's left and not what's best, right? We give God what's left over of our time when we've done the important stuff, when we worked and we've done all the stuff that's important, then we give God what's left of our time. We give God what's left of our money, don't we? After we've budgeted and spent what we want to spend it on, we give God what's left. And I wonder sometimes if we chase and chase and chase and chase and chase and chase and are never satisfied. It's because we're putting so much time and effort on ourselves or upon our success or our whatever, and not putting time on God. If we give God what's left, we'll give him the worst of ourselves, the tired part, the worn out part, the part that doesn't have any energy or anything left in him. We give God what's left of our money or tithe, then we'll give God the change, the bottom. And the Lord's telling the people here, don't I deserve the best? Go to the hills, bring wood, and build the house that I may take pleasure in it and be honored, says the Lord. You have looked for much, and lo, it came to little. Why? Because my house lies in ruins. The easy thing, the thing that may make the most sense intellectually, is to give God what's left and not what's best. But when we do that, we don't really commit to God and don't really receive the blessings that flow from God. When we give God the best of our time, then we're able to be in full relationship with him. We find something beautiful. When we give God the best of our resources, of our prayers, presence, gifts, service, and witness, that's the vows in the United Methodist Church. When we give God the best of that, then we find that we're using our resources for something worthwhile, something that really matters instead of just same old, same old. We don't have because we don't give. And the thing with this, we may have. To say we don't have is not to say that we don't have good stuff, because we probably do, don't we? I mean, most of us probably have all we want. But we really have a life that is truly abundant. Not abundant with stuff, but abundant with life. I don't know that it's possible. I don't know that it's really possible to have abundant life, to have life truly worthwhile without giving God what's best. I know in my life, the days when I'm joyful and happy and peaceful and a good husband and a good father and a good pastor and a good friend are probably the days when I'm devoted the best of my life to God. But the days when I'm too busy to pray, too busy to read, too busy to focus are the days when I'm probably not at my best. We've tithed our whole marriage, and we've never hurt because we've always wanted to orient our life around that. It's so easy. It's so easy to give God what's left, not what's best. I think when we give God what's best of our time, our talents, our gifts, our resources, that's when we really find life. So And Haggai, the Lord tells him, give me what's best. And when you do that, you'll find life. So anyway, let's make sure we orient our time and our life, our resources around God. So, hey, hope you worship somewhere this Sunday, whether it be at St. Matthew's, United Methodist Church. We'd love to have you, or wherever you find yourselves. Thanks for being with us. We'll pick up Monday morning with chapter 2. Hope you have a great weekend. See you on Monday.